Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Philip and today I'm going to be showing you how to make part 2 of the car chasing game that we made in the last video. Now in the last video, let's see what we did. So first, we made the car move with the left and right arrows. We also made these trees and those lines, and basically those trees and the lines, they are coming towards you so that it looks like motion. And also we made these cars that you're passing by and you're trying not to crash into them. Now in part 2, what we're going to be doing is we're going to add many cool effects to the game, and we're also going to add a police car that will be chasing you. So let's get started. We're going to make every single car, the cars have different speeds. So for this, we will make a variable, and I will call it car speed. For this sprite only, because we want each car to have its own speed. Okay, at the beginning, we will set it to a pick random, and that pick random will be from -5 to -9, because we want it to be negative because it's coming down, and we want it to be from 5 to 9 because we don't want it 10 because that's the road. We want it slower than the road. So pick random -5 to -9. Alright, and then we will change y by car speed. So let's go to the variables, get the car speed, and now let's test it. And yeah, look, the different cars have different speeds. Alright, so that's good. Next, I'm going to do this cool color effect on the cars so that it looks like they're different cars. We will set color effect to a pick random from 0 to 100. Alright, let's test it now. We can see that we have all of these different colored cars. So that's good. Next, we want to make my car crash. So we will, if it'll crash if it's touching this green color or if it's touching one of the cars that we're passing by. So we will need an OR block, and it will be touching cars or touching color, and then I'll pick this color and we'll put it right there. So if that happens, we will stop all. So let's go ahead and see if what I did works. So let's crash into this car. It stops, that's good. And if we crash into the green, everything stops. So that's good. Now what I did see is that it stops very abruptly. It once it crashes, it immediately stops. That's because we put the stop all right here, and just stop all, a direct stop all. It doesn't do anything before. So what we want to do is we want it to decrease the speed bit by bit. So for this, we will need a variable, which I will call my car speed. Okay, and at the beginning, we're going to set it to -10, because that's the speed that it went with. That's the speed that it changed by. So then we're going to use it. So here, the lines and the trees are the ones that move. So for the lines first, we're just going to set a -10 my car speed, and for the tree, instead of -10, we're going to do my car speed. Alright, now if we go back to the car, we also want it to stop bit by bit, like I said. So instead of this stop all, we are just going to decrease it in a repeat. Decrease that variable in a repeat. Let's say repeat 10 times for now. Change my car speed because we want to get its value as closer to 0. So let's also put this stop all here, and now let's test it. And if we crash, you can see that it slowly stops. There you go. And let's make it a bit slower. So let's repeat this, let's say 30 times. Well, not 30 times. Let's do double, 20, and we'll do this by 0.5. So let's crash. and that looks better. Now let's add this even cooler effect where if we crash, then the car turns. So let's go to the motions, and we will get this turn block, put in the repeat, and let's say 10 degrees. Let's test it, and we crashed. Now that doesn't really look natural because it keeps on spinning fast and then it suddenly stops. In reality, it keeps like going slower and slower. It keeps rotating slower and slower. So for this, we will actually have to like decrease it from 10 to 9 to 8 to 7 and so on. So isn't that exactly what our speed variable does? So we'll just turn my car's speed degrees. So now let's test it. Oh, and at the beginning we will also point in direction 90. Okay. Let's crash. And there you go, that looks more realistic. But as you saw, the trees and the cars that you're passing by also disappear. So we don't want that. And that happens because it's a stop all here. So instead of the stop all, if you click on the all part, you can make other things. So we're going to stop this script because we only want to stop the car from doing this. The others we will let do their thing. Now let's test it. And when we crash, you can see that the trees stay, but it's weird because new trees and more new cars get created. So we want to let the trees and the cars know when to be created. So for this, we will need a variable that I will call crashed with a question mark. Okay. And at the beginning, we will set crash to no. So it did not crash. And then if it crashes over here, we'll set it to yes. Set crash to yes. Alright. And then only, so we go to the tree. It'll only create clones of itself if it equals no. So if crashed equals no. So if it didn't crash. And we'll do the same thing for the other card. So I'm just going to copy the code. Alright, let's test it. And if we crash, you see that no new cars or trees appear, but the old trees, like the trees that were there before, still stay. So that is good. Next, what we're going to do is we are going to add the police car. And this police car is only going to come from time to time, and it's going to be following you. So what we're going to do is actually duplicate this car and just change the costume because the code is going to be pretty similar. So there's no point in coding all of it again. So we'll go to the costumes and we're going to upload a costume. And that costume will be of my police car that I have. So this one's mine. This is the police car I'm going to use. And make sure you delete the other costume. Now let's also go ahead and make it smaller because it is really, really big. So select it. Oh, too small. That should be about good. Now let's also rotate it so that it points down because these police cars, they are going to be coming towards you. You're not going to be passing by them like the other cars. So that's good. Next, we are going to first rename the car to police car so we don't get confused later on if we ever have to use the name. And then we're also going to change some of this code. So first of all, we won't appear a police car won't appear every half second to 1 second, pick random. It'll appear from like 5 seconds to 10 seconds, pick random. Okay, and then no color effect, so let's get that out. And then we are going to not need this variable. So instead, it will just be -15 because we want it to be faster than the other cars. So what we also want to do is we want to make sure that it's following the car. So for this, we will point towards, what's it called? Car. Point towards car. And then we want it to come towards it. So for this, we will need to ask ourselves if our X position, so if the police car's X position is greater than the X position of the our car. Oh, not car, sorry, it's car. The X position, so if it's greater, that means that this car is more to the right. So if that happens, let's get an if. If that happens, we're actually not going to need an if, we're going to need an if else, because, so basically if this happens, then we need it to go more to the left. So we'll change X by -2, and otherwise it's to the left, so we want it to go to the right, so by 2. Now let's test it. We can see that the car is coming towards us. First, let's hide the original, and let's do it again. So you can see that it's coming towards us, but the right side of the car is coming towards us. That's because in Scratch, whatever it's on this side, that's the one that's like gonna point towards it. So we need to rotate this to point like that, so that the front of the car is on the right. So then it'll the front of the car will point towards this. As you can see, that now works. Now, you might have noticed that it's getting too crowded on the screen with all the other cars, so you don't have really space to get away from the police car. So to fix this, we are going to not create any cars when the police car is coming. So for this, we will need a variable, make a variable. I'm going to name it time for police car with a question mark. Oh, whoopsies. Sorry. Time for police car. Alright. Okay. What we're going to do is at the beginning, set time for police car to no. And next, we're just going to move this wait here so that the first car that appears is not going to be a police car. So first wait, pick random 5 to 10 seconds, create clone of myself, and then we want to set time for police car to yes, because a police car is coming. Alright, and then we're going to wait a couple seconds so that the police car can come all the way to the bottom of the screen. So let's say 2 seconds. And then we're going to set time for police car back to no. Alright, now like we said, the cars that we're passing by shouldn't appear when one of the police cars are coming. Let's go to the cars that we're passing by code. And here, so here it only creates clones if it didn't crash. So it also, this, we're just going to do an and. So crashed equals no, and time for police car equals no. That is because we only wanted to create a clone when a police car is not coming. So I'm gonna take time for police car, duplicate that, get that out of there, put that there. Alright, let's test it. And here are regular cars. Okay, let's wait for a police car to come. Oh, there's a police car. And I saw no new cars appeared while the police car came down. But you might have also seen that the cars that were already there before the police car came still stayed there. So to fix this problem, we will go to the police car code, and basically here we are just going to set it to yes. Then we're going to wait, let's say a second. And then we are going to create the clone. And then we'll just add this code, the wait 2 seconds, so that it can come down, set time for a police car to no. Alright, let's test it. Let's wait for a police car to oh, dang it, I crashed. Let's wait for a police car. Where's the police car? Oh, there it is. See, no cars at all were there. Next, what we're gonna do is add the like the lights on top of the police car. So we go to the costumes, and we will just add 2 squares. One is gonna be red. Hold shift to get a perfect square. Okay. Now you can go ahead and copy paste that square. Okay. Yeah, and then move it around bit by bit with the arrows. But then you gotta click on one and make it blue. Alright, well, we gotta get them perfectly, at least pretty good. Alright, that's pretty good. Now, let's duplicate it, and we're just gonna change the order. So instead of this color over here, we will just get this color here, and instead of this blue one, so we're just changing the order. So we're gonna get this one. Alright, so it goes like, so it goes from red to blue to red. Alright, that's good. Basically what we're gonna do is we are going to get when I start as a clone block, because we need a new one, because we're going to be using the weight block, and if we put a weight block here, then for example it's going to change y by -15, then it's going to wait, change it again, wait, and it'll just look really bad. So when I start as clone, we will forever next costume, and then a small weight. So let's do 0.1 seconds. Let's test it. And we will wait for a police car to come. Oh, there's a police car. I saw that the lights, they were blinking, so that's good because that's what we did. Next costume, that's good. Now let's add a sound. So let's go to the sounds, and there's actually a sound called siren. So we're gonna go ahead and use that one. There it is. Just listen to it. That's good. Alright, so basically instead of this wait, I'm going to kick that out, and we are just going to play the sound until done. So it's basically going to, next costume, and then play the sound until done. So it's going to wait for the sound to be played all the way to the end. So that's why we got rid of the wait and put it. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is make sure that if it touches a police car, then it also crashes. So we're going to need another OR here. Touching police car. Alright, so let's test it. Alright, they're all the normal cars. There was a police car. I heard the sound, and I also crashed into it, and I crashed. It did all this code, so that's good. Next, what we're going to do is add this cool effect where when you crash, these 2 police cars are going to appear. So we're just going to duplicate the police car sprite. First thing we're going to do is all of this happens if crashed is yes, so only if we crash. Alright, now, second thing, we're going to get rid of all the blocks with time for police car because we won't need that variable anymore for this sprite. And then at the beginning, we will just want to wait 1 second so that all the cars that were already there will go away. So wait 1 second. And then, like I said, we are going to have 2 police cars. We need to know where to put the 2 police cars. We won't do it random because they might overlap. So we're just going to set X 2. And then I remember my first lane here, it was an X -100. So that's what I'm going to do. Then I'm going to create clone. Then I'm going to duplicate that. And I remember my last lane was an X 100. So there you go. And then after this, we are actually going to stop this script, and that is because it crashes, it's yes. It crashed is yes. The variable crashed is yes. So it does this, but then right after crashed is still yes. It'll keep doing this. So that's why we need to stop this script. Stop this script. All right. Then let's change this code here. So we'll get rid of the set x2, and it won't repeat until touching the bottom. It won't repeat until anything. We will want it to repeat a number of times. So repeat, let's say 20 times. I mean, let's do 15. We could do that. And then let's replace this sound with a wait. I'm going to do wait 0.1 seconds. So let's test it. And let's set. Okay, let's crash. And I can see that the 2 police cars come. So that is great. Next, let's go to the variables and add a score. Score. And let's set it to 0 at the beginning. Set score to, oh, sorry, wrong block. Set score to 0. And then we're going to change it. So every time we pass a normal car, before it deletes the clone, before it deletes the car, we're going to change score by 1. And every time we pass a police car, let's change it by 10, because it's pretty hard to pass a police car. So the score should go up by 10, I think. Alright, now let's hide all the variables except for the score. And let's make the score large readout. Right there. And let's name it Police Car Chase. And save it. And thanks for watching. I hope you liked the video, and I'll see you next time for another game we can make on Scratch.